everybody. Thanks. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Ricky Camilleri, and you loved our next guest in countless movies and TV shows, really anything she's been a part of, from Cape Fear to Natural Born Killers to California to August Osage County, more recently Camping, and now you can see Juliette Lewis starring in the new Facebook Watch series, Sacred Lies, The Singing Bones, a Blumhouse series, where she plays an independent investigator looking into a series of Jane Does. Please welcome the one and only, the great Juliette Lewis. Hey. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you. Congrats on this show.
Thank
Congrats
you.
on getting a part that explores an aspect of you as an actress that I don't think we've ever gotten the chance to see.
I hope so. Well, I know it did for me. I don't know if you can tell in the trailer, but for me, I just love playing people I've seen, but I don't know them or how they live. And that's what's exciting for me, because you have to have this deep empathy for others. And this is sort of a person who's rough around the edges. She's a bit of a hermit, but she's obsessed with finding out who killed a lot of these unidentified victims. And we find out after a few episodes what drives her. But she's kind of an outcast. And there's a few things I connected with her. She snacks a lot. So
You're a big snacker?
Big snacker.
What are your go-to snacks?
In the show? Because usually as an actor, like if an actor is like, yeah, I think my character's eating like peanuts in this, the director would be like, that's a terrible idea, please don't. Because it would be loud and annoying.
The director's like, you just want something to do with your hands.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
like,
I mean, actors don't always make the greatest decisions, but so this was written in, she's like either like downing a bag of chip crumbs or eating, did I have pistachio nuts? She's really big into Swedish fish, the candies, and red vines.
When you read it, were you like, yes, I feel seen, finally?
Yes, I was like, oh, a snacker, a fellow snacker. No, but it's funny because I try not to eat so much sugar, so the props department made it like fruit juice sweetened, special red vines.
Well, that's true, because if you're pounding sugar, doing
for
like 10 takes
hours
or something, yeah, you're gonna get crazy sugar highs and crazy lows.
You get a little crazy.
Yeah, you're gonna have like wildly different takes.
Yes.
No focus whatsoever.
Yeah. So those are all the little tricks, because sometimes you'll be shooting one scene that takes 10 hours. But there's a lot of good drama in this show, and it's strange, it's haunting, and that was the intention of Rael Tucker, the show's creator and writer, who comes from True Blood. Mm-hmm. She's really brilliant, because at first when she described it to the actors, she was like, it's part fairy tale like the Brothers Grimm, but part murder case solving. And you're like, how does that work? And then I saw the premiere and was totally blown away. She did what she intended.
I love the dramatic work that you're doing in this, because I feel like we get to see a part of what you've always done so well, which is be sporadic sometimes, and sort of like, I have no idea where you're going with your performance at times, but everything feels pulled back, and someone was like, you can do that, but you're gonna do it in ways where the audience is totally is not expecting it at all, because you have to present a certain way to everybody that you're talking to.
Yes. So here's what's funny is I'm playing, what was such a key to this character was her space that she lives in, because it's just not a lot of self-love going on, and she shuts herself off from the rest of the world, so that her energy level is like really sort of quiet and more insular. And so when she's dealing with people like the cops, she doesn't even know to smile like, oh, hi, how are you? Like, that's not her world. And I was kind of doing a little bit of a take of my brothers, different aspects of brothers, and then friends I've known, and then also feelings when I've felt very kind of isolated. You just have a different energy than if you are extroverted and going out or connecting a lot.
Are you personally a natural extrovert?
Isn't that funny?
I mean,
No, it's a funny question, because when I was a kid, because people think of me as sort of this, I don't know, knock on wood, like independent, self-assured, that's cool. But no, I was very introverted as a kid, so I understand. So am I a natural? No, like anybody, you go through your ebbs and flows and different feelings of the week.
Because what I love about your performance is that there feels like there is a repressed energy behind this character that's trying to get out, but it knows not to let it out everywhere she goes. And I don't know if it's her anger or because she's so alone, but it always feels like there's something behind her eyes or in the movement of your face where it's kind of like, oh, she has more that she wants to say here, but doesn't know how to communicate with anybody.
Well, that's exactly right, because she puts a cap on all this, what's the word?
Trio?
I was gonna say volatility.
Okay, yeah.
You're volatile. So she puts a cap on that, but it's trauma. She has a hugely traumatic background, and also she just feels different than others. And that's some of the beauty of these characters that Rael created is we don't get to see a lot of some people on screen, like even Jordan Alexander, the lead girl's character, that's a girl in and out of the foster care system. So she's really rough around the edges, and our two characters meet each other and they kind of end up becoming unlikely confidants. And that's really sweet because it's two very prickly, standoffish people that form a bond.
Yeah, I love that scene where the two of you meet, and it's basically like the two of you kind of going, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you. I just yell at people sometimes.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you. But they keep yelling at each other.
Yes, but I'm the older one, so I'm sort of like, let's take this down a notch, and then maybe we can help each other, because my character sort of starts or helps her find her dad, but you guys don't know this, but they tell us, like, don't tell them about A, B, and C.
Okay.
And so when you do interviews, all you're thinking about is A, B, and C. So I have to really be careful. I don't think I blew any plot points.
I think we're good.
We're good. Well, she's a dad. Ryan Quanten plays Jordan Alexander's dad, and he's named Peter. Yeah, you're going to find that out in the first 3 episodes. It's interesting. And we'll see if he's a good guy or not great guy.
What does it take for you to be a part of a show or a movie at this point in your career?
Good writing. Yeah. So right away, usually how people get my attention is a really great script. Hopefully it's a fresh story and character. So I'm always looking to play somebody I've never played before. So even though you may see things of my nature or whatever that I do, I'm always trying to play somebody new. And then I have a meeting, because that's the other thing you learn 30 years in. It's weird to say I've been doing this 30 years, but whatever. I'm like, 50 years. No, but now you learn, you also want to be able to work with people you think you're going to vibe with, and they like what you have to offer, and vice versa. So you take a meeting, and I had an incredible meeting with Rael, the show creator, and Scott, who is the director of the first 2 episodes.
Did you learn
They're
that
a good
from,
team.
Did you learn that from your first years as an actress, that sometimes you'll get on set and you'll be like, oh, I don't vibe well with this person, or this person's not running a set the way that I want to be on a set, and so therefore from now on we'll figure this out in a different way?
I learned all of that. You know it. Everybody knows it in regular life. I'm in regular life too, but
it's so true.
Your coworkers, you learn. You know what I call them? There's problem solvers and problem causers. Yeah. Or there's people who are solution oriented and not. And so on a set, you're working, the shortest your day is ever going to be maybe 13 hours. Well, unless you're just in a scene. Anyway, they're very long days, and you're working intensively with close group of people. So you hope everyone's in it to win it. I love rhymes, guys.
The difference with movies and TV though is that I feel like you can be a problem causer And if at the end of the day, the product or the movie or the TV show that you put out works and is great, you can go on being a problem causer for a little while. And it's up to actors to kind of be like, sure, that they make great stuff, but I don't really want to deal with that shit anymore.
Yeah, and you know what? It's so wild. You've been seeing all of it. It's, a lot of things are changing in our culture and in our workspaces where we're trying to care more for the human being than we might have before. But also, creative work is challenging, you know? So when I have to play a scene, there's a scene in here, but it's just where I have to like cry and, you know, I'm haunted by someone I lost in my past, and she cries and stuff. I don't really associate with people when I'm in that zone, but I'm not actively unkind or anything. I'm just to keep to myself. But I'm just saying it's challenging work, and yeah, so you give people their space to do their best, and yeah, I've been fortunate to work with all kinds of really good professionals. I think where I get annoyed is people that are a little bit. I'm now the veteran where I'm like, you know, in my day we didn't do blah blah blah, you know. But I have a lot of experience now, so you want things to run smoothly and
Efficiently.
efficiently. Thank you.
Yeah. Did you find
Yes.
that? Did you ever find that after your first, you know, like what, 5 roles in the in the early to mid '90s?
Yes.
Did you find that people typecast you in any way, or that it was hard for you to break out of this idea of, I mean, Natural Born Killers, Strange Days, these sort of like wildcat women that you were cast in initially?
Well-
California a little bit.
Here's what's funny is in that time, it was slim pickings. So it was either like you were going to be someone's girlfriend. It was real archetypal. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Really thinly drawn characters for young women. It was like the popular girl, the introvert, brunette, nerdy girl. So I was fortunate to find real wild, well-written characters, but more than how they were written, it was the people that I got to work with who let me just bring so much inventiveness to the equation. So even take like California.
I love that movie, but it is like a great classic movie that people don't talk about.
Oh, good. Yeah, there's some of the movies I've done where it's like a cult classic and people who know it know it. So California was Dominic Sena. He was a first-time director at the time. He went on to direct Gone in 60 Seconds and then other huge movies. But at the time, he's working with a new Brad Pitt, Juliette Lewis, David Duchovny, Michelle Forbes. And that role was improvised a lot. So the majority of what I did on screen was not written. But that's because I had a director who was awesome enough to be like, bring it. Try that in the scene. That's fun. Yeah.
I had no idea that was largely improvised. And that was like what, only your third or fourth, maybe fourth or fifth movie?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
And were you nervous about improvising at that time, or?
I don't know. I think I just didn't, because I'm not academically trained. So that was just sort of like I was just excited, like, oh, what if she does this and this scene? Because there'd be 4 of us talking. And so my character was Adele. And so she'd be like, she would just say non sequitur things.
Because she was always kind of lost in the conversation.
She was
or
lost.
Wasn't really clued in.
So I played her kind of like a 9-year-old who just is in her imagination a lot. So it was really fun for me. And then similar, like Oliver Stone with the Natural Born Killers, he let us go to town and make up all kinds of stuff. Now with a role like this, there's little bits like TV. They're a bit more structured, especially on these thrillers, because they know what they're doing on these thrillers to keep every episode exciting, leave you on the edge of your seat. But there's bits and pieces that I'm, of course, creating. Like you'll see some scene where my character picks up the candy and she just smells it, like when the guy goes out of the room. I mean, those are just like little behavior things that you just do when you're being the person.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there are scenes where it is beat by beat, but there are still, within those beats, it's like, oh, only Juliette Lewis could do this scene right now. this way.
Oh,
This is so
that's
specific to
nice.
her. Yeah.
That's the trick I try to make everyone think. You're like, only she could have played this part.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you bring something different to it that makes that part what it is.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Last year, I think was it like the 25th anniversary of Natural Born Killers? You guys celebrated
Oh my
that,
God,
right?
yes.
Is that true? Didn't you guys or a bunch of people got together to celebrate it?
It was kind of a shit show. Can I say
Oh, was
that?
it really?
Are we on AOL? Is
you
this
can swear.
like cable?
Yeah, you can curse.
What are we doing these days with these platforms? I'm on Facebook Watch. It's a new platform. Similar, sort of like cable. What is this? We call it we say
Streaming?
it's streaming so we can
I don't
say
know. They pull me out of a cage, they pay me, I get on
Right.
the stage, they put me back down.
similar. Do you know that's what I thought TV was when I was a little kid? I'm like, where are the people? I thought they were on different levels, acting out shows, and they were like this big and the thing. I was little. What did you ask me? Oh my God, the 25th anniversary.
Said it was a shit show.
Me, Woody Harrelson, Oliver Stone. Only a shit show in the funny sense because Oliver loves to disrupt. He loves to create a little bit of chaos. Not unlike all the movies you see, and he's a very brilliant filmmaker. So we get there, and we were going to watch the movie with an audience. They were all very excited. And then do a Q&A after. Oh, and Don Murphy, the producer, was there. So I thought we were going to have a civilized sit-down where I got to get to talk about these wild choices we made and the inspirations for Mallory Knox and what have you. And Oliver, the first thing we get there, he's like, let's do the Q&A first. Should we do the Q&A first? No one wants to wait. Do we wait? And I'm like, I don't know. And I always like defer to my director. I'm like, all right, we'll do the Q&A first. And then he would like interrupt the questions. And, you know, he's just a little bit of a pot stirrer. It did not.
Rouser.
Rebel rouser. And I thought we were going to have like this, sort of like this retrospective, and I would talk very serious about my work. Me and Woody just sort of laughed in the corner, and it was fun.
Oliver took control of the whole thing
Yes,
and
he
disrupted it and broke it down.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Did you stay and watch the movie?
I did.
Was that the first time you'd seen it since release, or had you seen it prior or again?
No, I've seen it before. It's so fucked up.
Yes.
I'm so bananas in it. I couldn't even stomach watching myself.
Really?
I was like, does she have everything was on 11 because I'm angry and yelling a lot in it. Toward the end, there's the break out of the jail. Ugh, it was
apparently
a lot
like a wild shoot, right? The actual breakout of the jail.
I mean, wild in like, yes.
You were in a real prison,
We
right?
were in a real prison. Again, Oliver wanted to use real prisoners to stage a riot scene, which you wouldn't think in an odd way was therapeutic for the prisoners. Don't know how good it was with the actors, but no, because it was oddly therapeutic, but it was messed up. And I had walking pneumonia toward the end, and we were in smoke and all this stuff. It was heavy duty, but it was something, you got your you live to tell about it. Like me and Woody, whenever I say Woody, there's so much love because it's like we went to boot camp together. It's like, we were in the war, man. That's kind of how we were.
Yeah, I remember hearing some story where during that, where the prisoners were like performing the riot and things were getting out of control and people may have been feeling unsafe. Someone approached Oliver and was like, this isn't good. Maybe we should calm it down. And Oliver apparently said to someone, I am a god of chaos and this is what I do.
Wow. I don't know that he said that, but that sounds like a quote he could have said. I like it. I will tell you a cuter, more civilized, although that was fun. It was fun to see my old co-workers. But there was another little get-together we had, a 25th, maybe it's a 30th anniversary. I can't keep track of the numbers. Christmas Vacation.
Oh, wow.
Talk about opposites. That was so cute. It was Johnny Galecki, Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, and Diane Ladd, who plays the grandmother in it. and that was so delightful. And that I hadn't seen in forever, even though they play it every year. That was a very sweet Q&A.
Chevy wasn't disrupting it or
No,
trying to,
he was
let's do it first.
he was in fine form, and it was, yeah, I get him and his wife's Christmas card every year.
Oh.
I get from their family ever since I was a teenager. And, there's a couple people that are instrumental in giving me my leg up or my career, and Chevy Chase is one of them, and Scorsese is one of them. Quentin Tarantino, who wrote Natural Born Killers, and Oliver Stone.
And put you in From Dusk Till Dawn as well.
And Dusk Till Dawn, which I did after. But there are these people, and so I'm in my midlife time, and so it's really beautiful when I can give back and just be in full gratitude to those people who really shaped my creative world.
Was you were in Strange Days as well, which I briefly mentioned was the Catherine Bigelow movie.
Yes.
It's prior to her getting all the sort of Academy love that she got with Hurt Locker, but I think Strange Days is such it's a masterpiece, especially a movie about Los Angeles.
Oh, that's nice.
What was it like shooting that movie with her at that time? It's such a wild movie.
It was, what am I like? It was hell. Sort of.
Yeah.
But let me explain. Because it was a night shoot for like a month and a half. So you're living vampire hours. We'd go to work at like 8 p.m. Until 5 a.m. for a month. But she was really incredible because, as she's explained before, the way she approaches cinema is much like a painter. And she has such an attention to detail. Very much knows what she wants out of every scene and shot. And I was so knocked out to see her win for Hurt Locker because I just think she's one of our great filmmakers.
So many of your scenes, if I remember correctly, so many of your scenes in Strange Days are point of view of somebody else. So you're playing your part directly to the camera. Often,
That was weird.
Yeah, was that weird?
It was weird because... Yeah, it was a weird time for me because I was just becoming famous, and I didn't really like the idea of talking to the camera because I felt that was so personal. Here we are now in 2020, and it's like, hey guys, what are you guys doing today? But at that time, I was all like, too intimate to talk to, but the scenes are like that because her boyfriend's filming her. So it was, it was intense stuff and the subject matter, but for better or for worse, those are stories I gravitate toward and can really dig deep in and am able to unearth those types of survival emotion or pain. And I just treasure every experience that I've learned from.
There have been, obviously those are movies from like the very early stages of your career. And as you said at the top of this, you've been doing this.
I've been doing a lot of
years.
stuff recently.
Yeah,
guys.
exactly. Like I said, you did camping. You're doing this as well. I'm curious, is there anything over the course of your career that you feel like, and I always feel like this with actors, you do so many things where you feel like maybe you delivered the best performance of your career and you feel amazing about it, but somehow it just doesn't get the audience that it should have gotten.
That happens. I mean, that can happen, and it really feels like a wah wah wah. But it's funny, like The Other Sister for us. What happens is people carry those stories, and people carry what you meant to them and what your work meant to them. So I always joke, like I see people in airports a lot, and we have lots of hugs, and. But The Other Sister is really special to me because there's people who have someone like Carla Tate in their family, and they hadn't seen a movie that showed that person's fight for independence. So that was a labor of love for all of us. Did we hope someone, might have seen it or give it critical attention? You hope that, but now that was like 98. It was Giovanni Ribisi, Diane Keaton, Gary Marshall. Who's such a loving, good, fun person and creator. So you hope for critical this and that, But now you learn, really, it's always about the experience.
So at the moment, and you can't really do anything outside of that, because I'm sure you've also delivered what you thought was a great performance, and then saw the cut,
Yes.
and then like, oh, that's my performance
You've
is
been
lost.
talking to a few people in this business.
In a
you know.
couple of years.
No, so much. Oh no, I could tell you a story where it's quite controversial. I don't think I'm going to tell it.
You don't have to name. You don't have to name the
Name a
movie if you
name.
don't want to.
He was in the news recently for, but not.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Not in a. I didn't ever have some horrible experience, thank God. In a creative way.
Are you talking about a certain Pulitzer Prize-winning play?
Yeah, did it win a Pulitzer Prize?
Yeah.
So this incredible play, I don't know what I'm saying. The point is, I've had my performance cut bad by a very evil person who's right now is Ding Dong, the Wicked Witch is dead. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say about that person. That's all I think of. Ding Dong, the Wicked Witch is dead. You can put the news banner underneath.
Right.
I don't know.
Hiding behind bars with chest palpitations, thank God.
My point is,
what?
I didn't know this. Oh wait, let's not be too confused. I didn't. The point is, I had heard from somebody that this horrible person deliberately cut a performance of several actors in the piece because he was trying to manipulate the outcome and who he wanted attention for. I've never heard of anybody doing such a thing. So the point is, this is just creative frustration. Nothing like when you've been had a violent act committed on you. So I'm thank God that's not in my experience.
Yeah, of course. He was fairly well known for cutting people's films and having very little regard for the artist
people,
and the creator.
Yeah.
Although because he stood by one famous filmmaker, he was able to use that to boost his profile as like a champion of creators, which he ended up not being. I've talked to people that were involved in, I think, the film that we're talking about, where they have said that he was heavily involved in screwing up the script, screwing up the cut.
Oh yeah, wanted to add scenes, wanted to do this, that, and the other. Do you guys even know what we're talking? I could just say it. It was August Osage County. Anyway,
it's a brilliant, beautiful play.
Well, and just my little story was I had just come off the heels of doing my rock band for like 6 years. So for me to get that material in my hands, I was overjoyed. So that's what I mean about expectations. It was the most beautiful material I'd seen in a long time, and a character I loved. And it was sabotaged by the Wicked Witch, who's dead.
Imagine buying the rights to a Pulitzer Prize-winning play and then being like, I'm going to sabotage it.
Yeah,
Wow.
or I know better, or whatever. Yeah.
We have time for a question from the audience. We have one from Keith. Keith?
Yes, sir. Juliette, thanks for being here today. I'm a big fan. You just touched on it briefly, and I don't know if everyone here is aware that you're the front woman of a great rock band, Juliette Lewis and the Licks. Could you tell us a little bit about the origin of that, what it's like to express yourself in that fashion, and what you guys are doing right now?
And Keith, it was?
Yes, ma'am.
Is wearing a Beatles shirt. I mean, come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Abbey Road. No, I haven't done anything lately. We're toying with the idea of maybe writing. That was my first rock and roll band. It's very ferocious. Music takes a lot of energy. I'm independent to the core, so there's no outside help. And I'm gonna little by little keep writing. But right now I've been having a run of different TV and movies stuff that's coming out this year. But I'll figure it out.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Juliette, Sacred Lies, The Singing Bones is such a wonderful series, an incredible performance by you.
Oh, can I say one thing?
Yes,
musically, music is so instrumental in this. Like, it's very haunting, and it's a clue to who killed who, or you're going to figure out. And Alison Mosshart of The Kills wrote the main song in it called Rise, and it's really beautiful and haunting. And I just learned that at the premiere, so she's a pretty cool songwriter and lady.
When can we see Sacred Lies, The Singing Bones?
It is
Facebook
out.
Watch. It's out
It's
now?
on Facebook Watch. Just do a little search. You guys know how to do this. And there's 3 episodes up now, and then you'll get the next one every Thursday. but there's 3 episodes. Yeah, thanks for a great interview.
The one and only Juliette Lewis, everybody. Let's hear it.